All right, guys. Hello. My name is Nicholas Alamo, and this is my persuasive speech on solving homelessness in the United States. All right. So, the United States is home to selfish and ignorant people. Each day we pass by those in the streets whom we could help, yet we choose not to because it's not our problem. This is a dangerous mindset for the American people, and one that we should try to solve as quickly as possible. Now, some of the things that we can do as individuals to help solve this problem is to raise awareness that it is a problem and that it's all over the country. Another thing as individuals we can do is vote. As a community, we can offer our collective assistance to get help to those who need it. Also, we can organize events and fundraisers to raise money and donations for those in need. My proposed policy would be to decrease the property and income tax on the poor and to increase the income and property tax on the wealthy and the wealthy corporations. We would use this money to fund the creation of more affordable housing and mental institutions and a permanent housing program for the homeless. Now, the first step in actually enabling great change is by inspiring the voters. And so, as individuals, we would want to vote. And the best thing we can vote on to help the homeless right now would be to vote to increase the minimum wage to actually $15 an hour. The cost of living has increased exponentially within the past 50 years, and the minimum wage has not increased nearly enough to help support that. An article from Fast Company says, quote, "While the cost of many of these items is rising faster than inflation, the minimum wage hasn't even done that. If it was set to go up with inflation, the same $7.25 in 2009 would be $8.62 in today's dollars. Even that inflation-adjusted minimum wage wouldn't be equivalent to a living wage," end quote. Now that means the American dollar has significantly decreased in its value, while also the price of living has just gone up way too much so that what we had just doesn't support that anymore. So as an individual, we can only do so much, but as a community, we can offer a lot more assistance to more people. And the larger the support group or community, the more people we can actually help. There are plenty of ways communities can actually help those in need in your local neighborhood. And some of these ways is to actually know where your local shelters and community centers are so that you can direct the homeless to those places. You can also help by organizing fundraisers and donation drives to those who need it. When considering what to donate, an article from Invisible People says, quote, "Donate gently used items such as clothes, bras, and blankets. When you can, purchase items like menstrual pads and even socks. Give money when you can, even when it feels like a small contribution. It can make a world of difference," end quote. This means that everyone should be able to give at least something, and no matter what you do, anything could change someone's lives. Okay, so while communities of people can help those in a town, a national law has the power to change the status quo all across the country. Now, within the past 4 years, taxes have significantly decreased for the wealthy, which has left a major impact on the markets, considering how much goes to the poor and middle classes. Now, the policy I'm proposing would actually increase the property and income taxes for the wealthy and also leave room to decrease the taxes on the poor. Now, with all this money left over, or not left over, but all this money generated from the new taxes, we will actually be putting that into investing in our cities. And we can invest in our cities by offering developmental agencies incentives to build more affordable housing within booming cities. Now, a quote from the National Real Estate Investor says, quote, "Inclusionary zones Inclusionary zoning rules typically offer the developers some kind of incentive, like a tax break or a zoning bonus, that would allow them to build more apartments on a site than the zoning rules currently allow, end quote. Now, with national widespread of this current incentive, there could be a lot more affordable housing within the next 20 years. Another aspect of affordable housing is actually to offer a program that would give the homeless a permanent house to start off with. Now, countries like Finland have set the status quo on this type of forward thinking. What they do is they actually give a homeless person a house to start off with, and then try to help them build their lives from there. Now, a quote from the World Economic Forum says that homelessness also meant daily alcohol use. It was not so much about getting drunk, but a way to pass the time. When I've had an apartment, I've spent several months without drinking. You can't get sober when you're homeless. No one can, end quote. This article tells the reader that there's a lot of empty time for a homeless person. And with all that empty time, you're just spent finding ways to cope with it. And now with this possible program, we could be giving people a house and helping them build their lives from there, giving them a stable income and a stable way of living. Now, the last part of my proposed policy is to implement more humane mental health institutions into our nation. Now, the tax dollars that we made from the increased taxes, we will be generating more clinics and mental health hospitals that will treat with the mentally ill that are living on the streets today. We can do this by just creating whole new hospitals, or by offering easier enrollment and greater coverage of those hospitals and their care. Right now, as it stands, the mentally ill currently cannot be admitted to most hospitals, and this is because of a lot of the laws surrounding mentally ill people. An article from state and local news.com says, quote, "Our ability to respond to the plight of seriously mentally ill homeless is hamstrung by the laws requiring that we leave the mentally ill alone, unless they are essentially actively harming themselves or someone else." So to put this another way, this means that unless they're killing themselves or actively trying to kill the doctor that's admitting them into the hospital, they can't be treated because of all the laws surrounding their rights. Now, the institutions will have to be safe havens and offer some kind of assistance to those who are now on the streets. And this can be through job training or just scenario training and education, possibly, that we can eventually get them out as soon as possible and into the community. Now, so for my conclusion, I'd like to leave you with a couple tidbits. Just know that change won't happen overnight, and it's definitely not going to happen everywhere all at once. But each person can do their part, and with enough people, we can actually create bigger change. So make sure that you vote and work with your neighbor to help donate and raise money for those who need it. With my policy of increasing taxes on the rich and funding programs to get people off the streets, there looks to be a brighter future for the homeless population of the United States. There is hope for change, so vote progressive. Thank you.